सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Yeah, so I was just mentioning the purport of this Shanti mantra, and its use, its use and its appropriateness in terms of satsang or any endeavor for that matter in terms of teaching and learning. This verse says that we are undertaking a pursuit, and let that pursuit be useful, fruitful to both. So that's what it means actually. And that's the reason this is an apt verse for any such endeavor. I thought I'll just mention that. And also in terms of this Shanti mantras, we always have this Shanti mentioned 3 times at the end of the verse. So it basically means Shanti related to 3 areas. One is Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, and Adhyatmika. So there can be obstacles coming from the geology around us. You can have tempest, you can have anything happening actually. So these are all disturbances, and you can have disturbances from little forces beyond our hands actually. Even for a concentration we need that grace actually. So that is also required. So Adi Daivika is also required, that help is also required. And apart from everything else being there, one has to also having the composure to and to concentrate on the pursuit as well. So Adhyatmika. So all these 3, we want to say that we don't want obstacles from any of these things, and we want Shanti in all this. And with that only we can actually have the pursuit going on, and we seek that all the time. So that's the reason the Shanti mantras are always ending with these 3 Shantis because of these 3: Adhyatmika, Adidaivika, and Adibhautika. I thought I'll just mention this once in case someone is not initiated into this meaning actually. Okay, since I'm not able to refer, I don't have my book with me here. I request one of you to read out verse 71. In my opinion. Last time 70 and 71 we saw. If someone can read verse 72 and the immediate meaning, then we can start from there.
Okay. 72 is, I don't know whether I'll be reading the Sanskrit correctly or not.
No problem.
Yadi satyam bhave dvishvam sushuptva vytam yannopalbhayate kinchin ato sat swapna vrisha. And the immediate if the world were real, let it be perceived in deep sleep, because it is not at all available in deep sleep, therefore it is unreal like the unreal dream.
Right. So in this pursuit of thanks Shikaji, first of all. See, in this pursuit we are following this Tripudi model as I mentioned earlier. So we kind of reduce everything to 3 things alone, 3 entities alone, and then we proceed with the example, so that once we knock off each of these, we will come to know then who's the winner. So we take Jagat, and we take oneself, who's the observer. To start with, we see ourselves as an observer with this body, mind, sense complex, and a presupposed, logically so, rightfully so, a presupposed creator of all this what is here. So these three, we take it, the entire world, whatever we have here, we things, and we dwell upon these three things alone in Vedanta pursuit. Like if we want to understand reality by getting into the understanding of atoms and molecules, you have so much in the world that I think even if you say infinite time is required, even that is not enough to really complete the pursuit. For someone to say that, okay, this is the last element I have found in this world, that's going to be kind of what you can say, horizon kind of, you can keep seeing that, but you can never reach it. So that's how it would be. Even if you see the periodic table today, we might be having whatever number of elements which are identified, and they have been put into a very nice array in terms of logic, so that one can remember well. So they have been organized very well. Just one electron you reduce from the next orbit, and the last orbit you have another element. So very nicely they have found all these things, and they have written down all the characteristics of each of these elements. But there is no conclusion that after this, for example, if you have 100 elements, 101 will not be found. There is no guarantee at all. Every day, every year, or every decade, they may come out with one other element. So this is how world works actually, because world is a real kind of array of so many things that you have innumerable possibilities in terms of finding new things. And even when you find a new thing, again you can find isotopes within that also. They exist in different forms, even though they have the same characteristics. So material world, for one to understand everything through material world, to understand totality through the material world, to understand the substratum of things and the basic root cause of what is here, to attempt through material world is going to be infinitely impossible. Just impossible. We have been always experiencing this in our life itself, that every day we learn a new concept. Especially in this digital world, every day kids teach us a new concept actually, in terms of using a particular gadget. And even if one has a particular model of phone, let it be even a simple phone, if not iPhone or any other phone, even within that, if there are 5,000 what you can say, possibilities available in terms of features, we may know maximum 50 or 10. So a lot of those features we don't even know. For example, I think one feature you may know that, okay, if you want to take a picture with an automatic click, you can say, without setting a timer, you can just wave your hand, and then I think the system understands that, okay, you want to click. So the trigger can be just waving your hand by doing that, from a distance. So every day, if you see, even if certain feature is available in the mobile itself, we do not know. Now you can understand, if it is yet to be discovered, how difficult that would be actually. But still scientists keep doing that, and no scientist till now has arrived at saying that now this is my last discovery, last invention done, full stop. Now science can stop. So that doesn't happen at all actually. And every area you see, for example, in the area of food, if you see, people have been living in eating whatever food was available, and they've been always thriving. But if you see the kind of creativity which comes in terms of food itself, so many varieties keep coming in actually, to the extent that you have contests going on wherein people are rewarded for creativity. Every time there is a new possibility. In every area, any area you take, new possibility, especially colors. I think okay, so there's no gender bias, but we are talking about practical stuff actually. Women understand more colors than men. This is a practical stuff. I hope no one will be objecting or having a different experience here actually. the kind of colors which men know normally will be maximum with gear. Beyond that, men will not know anything actually. But then, if you go to a shop and pick up this saying, "Oh, how is this blue color looking?" Then you will say, "No, this is not blue. Actually, this is something else." So that's the kind of realization we have every time. We keep on learning new. So this way, to pursue Jagat from that microscope level or telescope level, it is going to be an unending pursuit. So Jagat is packaged and then that will be looked upon and examined in a particular way in the method given by Vedanta. So Jagat is one particular entity. All elements, everything that is here, we just put it into one entity, we just call it Jagat. That's all. The one which has come about, the one which is called Janana is Jagat. That's all. So it has come from somewhere, that is Jagat. That's it. And it's keeping on changing. And then the one who's observing, he is the real subject actually who is pursuing this knowledge. Though he might be confused about his own true nature. Right now, when the pursuit starts with the understanding that we are this package of Panchakosha. And we want to understand what is our true nature. This is how we start the pursuit. So that observer is the observer we're talking about. He's the one who's basically the student, you can say, the mumukshu, the one who wants to know this knowledge of ultimate. And the presupposed creator. One thing is very clear, everything that is here was only revealed to me. I have seen it after I have been born. So I am sure that I have not created because it was there when I was born, it was already there. So this makes very clear, that I have not created this. The only thing I can ask is maybe whether my father has created or my mother has created this Jagat. So they have said that they have also not created. The same thing goes to generations and generations. All of them have been a subject of this. They have been a part of this world. That's what they've been always thinking. And this thing continues to exist. So we always understand one thing, that yes, if it was already created, there was a time when it was created, there was someone who created it. So this presupposition has to happen ideally through common sense as well. This is that energy alone, we put it as the creator, Ishvara. So we just put him as the creator, who is the cause of everything. So we have the cause from where Jagat comes, from where the inquirer comes. So everything is reduced to this Jagat, and everyone is reduced to oneself. And the cause of both these is reduced to one name, Brahman, you can say. Nitya Vastu Vekam Brahma, Tad Vyatiriktam, Sarvam Anityam. So in this model, these three things alone we take for examination. Now, having said that, in this model of Vivekachudhamani, which follows almost similar method as in Upanishad, we have been exposed to many concepts. When it came to oneself, it was mentioned that you are made of all this Panchakoshas. The Panchakoshas, they are all a part of world only, and it keeps on changing. So that cannot be you. The real you is the one who is the witness of all these changes that is happening. It was mentioned. As far as the inquirer is concerned, this was the truth revealed. As far as world's truth is concerned, it was said that world is keeping on changing. Anything that changes is anitya. And also, if you examine it, anything that changes was not there previously. There was a time when it was not there. There was a time when it came about. And as it comes about, it keeps changing. And there will be a time when these things will cease to exist. It is subject to time. That is why it is called anitya. So it was mentioned very clearly that something which keeps changing constantly, what kind of substance you can actually attribute to it? There is no substance that you can give it. It's keeping on changing. What is the use? See, from our mind's perspective, if my friend is going to live as much as I am going to live, for example, as long as I am going to live, if I am going to live for 100 years and my friend is also going to live for 100 years, he is real for me. Because as long as I'm available, he is also available to me as a friend. It's quite real. So basically, what we take as real is only from our mind's perspective of what it wants to take as real, what it takes as real. Basically, mind is that which forms the basis of every reality around us. And mind does this actually all the time. For example, you will not attach an importance to a fly that just comes and then vanishes out within one night. Actually, when this rain happens, you have hundreds of flies, swarms of them coming in actually, and they just die, and they go about, and no one even worries about it. We don't mourn for it actually. We never even think about it. I mean, for us, it's so insignificant. So for us, that anityatva is very clearly acceptable. But of course, there can be an empathetic person who can be so empathetic that he can be worried about a mosquito's condition as well. That's also possible. Okay, but larger population, if you see, a fly going away is not a problem at all. But one can take a movie on this to make everyone feel miserable that we guys do not even think about flies. They can make a movie out of it. I think some of you would have seen this movie, or whatever it is, which was based on a housefly. And each of us would know as to how we enjoyed that movie. And that over there, the character was that housefly only. The hero, after his death, is assumed to have taken that birth, and then the entire story was with the background of that. It entertained everyone. Can you imagine someone can be watching an entire movie based on a housefly? So everything is possible. Now, when you see that, mind is that which can lend credence to anything. It can lend credence to amoeba as much as it can give a lack of credence to Himalaya. Both ways it can work actually. So finally what's happening is mind is the one which drives everything and gives either the credence or discredence to any of these things. So anityatva, if you see, is kind of this nature. Jagat is of this nature. Just comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. If you just hold an ice cube and just melts away, fine, it has given you some experience. After that, you're not going to even think about it actually. But something which is going to be there forever, that people are either you have either pleasure or pain. Both ways, mind dwells on that actually. So if mind is so filthy that it can dwell on something which is quite of a temporary nature, like a movie itself. What kind of seriousness we can give to the conclusions made by such a mind? So it is not that we have to discredit everything what it does. We have to be only aware that mind can do this way, that way, all the ways actually. And if we understand, if we give the satyatva status of everything what mind perceives, we will make a mistake. One has to understand that mind is a culprit actually here. Though it is a blessing as well, it is also a culprit. It perceives things in its own way and gives credence and satyatva in its own way and continues doing that because that's how it works. That's how it works. And if you examine mind, unless we put together all the frames of thoughts, there won't be any experience at all. For example, if you see, those days we had this film actually, when it used to come in the market, we used to have this small film. These were basically from the reels of movies where I think when they would have thrown out some of those edited ones, which they thrown out, we discarded one. We used to get that in the market and we used to keep, putting that into a magnifying glass and watching that as a movie actually. So they are all one particular frame. So someone, does an action and it will be in between one of those shots. So mind also perceives world in set of frames only. every thought, a vritti, is a frame. Okay? There is a continuing entity which entertains this set of all these frames and then gives kind of a credence to an experience. If you just objectify one frame, it will be so meaningless. It will be completely meaningless unless the movie is kind of going at a level that the motion can be perceived. We will never get that experience. Watching just one film gives no experience. Similarly, when you really look at vritti, just one vritti, you won't get anything out of world actually. You will not get anything out of world. Unless you allow that mind the way it works, unless you leave it naturally, we can never enjoy world also. So mind is finally reduced to sets of thoughts, series of thoughts. So we make a mala out of these individual beads. If you take these individual the frame of thought as a bead, and as a weaver, if we do not lend our yarn to really put these beads together, we will never get a story. So that's where I think the yarn word comes actually. We can't spin a yarn. So it doesn't come actually. So we are the one who gives this credence to the sets of thoughts. Otherwise, an isolated thought, just one thought, entire noise is reduced. Now you will understand the power of meditation. So in meditation, in japa, one sound is given. So when you keep this frame uniform, even in that thought, one has to understand in a movie camera or any camera, I think there is called a shutter speed, whatever they call it. So when you click once, it would have already taken 56 pictures. I think in iPhone this happens. Some of you might be knowing this. Same thing happens in a movie camera. In a movie camera, depending on the number of times this frame is taken, the clarity will be much more. This is how it works. Our thoughts are exactly the same way. They're exactly the same way. Now, if I keep every frame uniform, then I will not see motion at all. If I keep every frame, if every frame I just copy paste. In that case, even when I run it as a movie, as a motion picture, I will see only a still picture because every consecutive frame is the same frame as before. No movement has happened at all. So this is the trick in japa. In japa, one is given a particular sound. He just repeats that sound. If you take that sound to be a module of, for example, 3 seconds or 4 seconds, that 4 seconds module keeps multiplying every time. So you will see only this frame of this 4 seconds everywhere. And as I was also linking earlier, everything continues to be at rest or of uniform motion unless compelled by an external force. So at rest and uniform motion, they are basically equated. So in the case of japa, it's a uniform motion. The same frame is given. It is not inactivity, but the same frame is given repetitively, automatically. Lot of noise is reduced and only that frame exists. So this is how we reduce world to only a particular japa, only a particular sound. And when you reduce noise, automatically you have relaxation. So this is why japa gives relaxation and you get more focus. So anityatva of world was introduced in many ways in Vivekachudhamani, and also I was trying to explain the anityatva by saying that anything outside is basically dependent on oneself. The way we take it, what kind of credence we give it. Once you analyze threadbare, everything becomes useless actually. When you really analyze threadbare, as I said earlier also, when you watch a movie, you have to be very clear that you are not scientifically looking at it. You are looking at it artistically, that you are just going there. You are not going to think about how this movie technology is made. You are just going to focus on the story. Only then that emotional feeling or experience what you wanted, you will be able to get that. But if you really think about frames, cut picture, edited, whatever happens behind the screens, you can't enjoy the movie at all. Now, from our standpoint, we have been enjoying the movie, either painfully or pleasurely, with pleasure. We have been enjoying the movie, whatever the movie of Jagat. That's what we have been doing. Now, Shruti has to undo that. Shruti has to say that, no, you are just going with the flow. Mind is putting up so many frames for you. You think they are all real. Please stop, freeze one frame, just freeze one frame, analyze it. You will get to know what is the truth of what you are seeing outside. What you are seeing outside is getting revealed to you with the set of frames. When you freeze one frame, there is no movement at all. Then what kind of movement are you talking about? So it makes us go to a particular level of vritti, and then it makes us understand that things outside, as what we see as a world, we have packaged it as a world, they do not exist. And how it is taking us to the level of vritti. There was one verse which was said earlier, which said that that self, Atma, objectifies an active mind and also an inactive mind. So when something is able to objectify a changing thing, automatically it means that the one which is objectifying is changeless with respect to the changing thing. It's very clear. Only when that Atma is intact, it can say that there is something else which is changing. So, buddhihi tat vrittihi sadbhavam. Mind, intellect, and its active status, sadbhavam. Then, abhavam, it aham ityayam. Suppose there is no thought. That is also objectified. That is where that sushupti is obtained. When mind is resolved, there are no thoughts. That no thought situation is also objectified by this Atma. This is what was mentioned earlier. Now the point is coming back to the same thing. If a person has to take an argument, if a person has to argue that no, Jagat definitely has credence and it exists. It is Satya. You cannot say it is Mithya or Anitya because it is there. If someone says this, then Shankaracharya is providing the earlier argument again back more as a recollection. He is saying that if you say that world is true, and if the world were to be true as per your opinion, then it has to be true in all the three states. Swapna, Jagrati, Sushupti. So in Sushupti, world is not there at all. When mind is resolved, world is not there. So we can't say that something is existing only when mind is. It should be available otherwise also. So when mind is resolved, world is no longer there actually. So in that, if that is the case, so world itself has a particular status where it's available sometimes and not available sometimes. So the anityatva of Jagat is being pointed out here and stressed here with this logic saying that in case Jagat was to be true, let it be available during Sushupti. Is it available? No. Since it is not available, it is not Satya. Yanno palaptaye ato asatvaptavan drisha. Yeah, please.
So,
you want to say something, Mariji?
I want to, this last thing what you said. So, if in the Shushupti state, I am not able to see the world, or I am, so that's why we say it is unreal. But is it not that I am unable to see it, but it is there? Because maybe for me it is not there, but for somebody else is there. So, Shushupti may be a state, like my argument, it is a counter argument which I am trying to say. Understanding
you need to do that.
It is there, but I have reached to a state where I am unable to experience it in a Shushupti state. But it is always, so when I come back from Shushupti state, I am able to recollect everything, and I am again the part of the same Jagat.
Yes.
So if it is
Yes.
not there,
Exactly.
then that period,
Hmm.
like, so every day there is a period where for me the Jagat is there and Jagat is not there. Then again for say maybe 2 hours when I am in deep sleep, Jagat is not there, and 22 hours Jagat is there. So why
Hmm.
and how this is? So why it is that we say that Jagat is not there in the Shushupti stage?
Good point. See, 3 things we have to remember here. One is that as long as mind is, definitely world is, perception will keep happening. No one can dispute it. For example, during dream, no one can intervene with the dreamer and then say that, boss, what you are looking at as a world does not exist. You can't do that at all. However, on waking up, no one has to really prove him saying that world is not there. He will be thinking, what nonsense, I know it is Anitya, why are you even teaching me? He will say that actually. Okay? This way, when Shruti operates and teaches and makes one understand that one is everything and everything else is a changing concept within oneself, then this person attains the same status as that person who could falsify dream. Okay, that's what self-realization is all about. When that happens, the same way the dreamer was able to just falsify dream just by waking up. He could falsify dream. Similarly, in this Atma Jnana, we can give another word, awakening, you can say, because you have to give some other prefix to it to make it different from the earlier waking up. So when this knowledge awakens about oneself, then one understands that in this, everything that is changing is existing, and everything resolves into this one thing only. So this comes very clearly in oneself only. That knowledge is very clearly ascertained. When that is ascertained, no one needs to take any kind of a pain to say that this world is mithya. Not at all. Because they know that, yes, I know this. That's how it will be. Okay? Coming back to one more point here. Sushupti, in the case of Sushupti, what is being pointed out is towards that witness being always there in all the 3 states, including Sushupti, and due to that witness only subsequent recollection was possible. So, in the case of Sushupti, what is made subservient is mind. Mind is shown to be something which is a changing thing, and the one who is observing all the 3 states is being pointed out as the real Vastu, Atma basically. So the change of God has to happen there. That's why that point is mentioned. Now, coming back to your specific question, you are saying that, yes, during Sushupti, if world was not available to me, that is very much my experience alone, not others' experience. In fact, my non-experience. It's not an experience, it's a non-experience. So it is my non-experience, but for others who have not got into Sushupti state, world is real. Jagat still exists. Yes, this is absolutely right. The same thing you can say after self-realization to a person who has understood the self as the cause of everything, and everything other than oneself does not exist. If one has already understood this, he has the same predicament. For him, world is not there. There is nothing other than oneself. He understands the Advaita Bhava. However, there are people, there are others who are yet to cross that journey and reach that position where the dreamer could falsify just on waking up. That kind of a waking up has to happen. That is what is happening along with the help of Shruti. In that state also, the same question will come. I can say very clearly that Jagat does not exist because I have assimilated what is said by Krishna, what is said by Shruti, what is said by my gurus. I have assimilated that, so I can say that in front of me there is nothing. There is nothing called front and back for me also, because front and back is coming from the spatial idea and from a location idea. There is nothing called front and back. There's only one thing. After that, there's nothing which is existing. That one thing is oneself. This is the status. Now, every question that will come only from the sense of mind. So definitely nothing wrong in that. Because as a person who is into the pursuit, whether we have confusion or whether we have clarity, which it is with the help of mind only, so these questions will definitely come. Shruti is saying only one thing, saying, solve your problem, the world's problem is resolved, because you are putting up a world which is not there. You are giving credence to a world which is not there. Now, having given credence, the world's problem becomes your problem. So everyone will be talking about climate change. If you take it real, then you have to become a task bearer for climate change. There is no climate, everything is there, heat is also there, cold is also there. Just bring them together, automatically things are resolved. So you have matter, you have antimatter. Bring them together, there is no matter. No matter what may say after that. So, science itself is saying, no, you have matter, you have antimatter. Unless matter and antimatter, are available, you can never see world actually. If everything was resolved, if it was zero, then you can never even enjoy -1 and +1. Since we have -1 and +1, since we have -a and +a, we are able to see Jagat. If -a and +a were to be together, you won't have anything there. You will have nothing there actually. But one has to be very clear, abhava, nothing, is also an objectification, and there is a person who is objectifying abhava as well. This is what is happening in Shushupti. The witness is able to witness abhava also, as much as it is able to witness tadbhava. Buddhi, tadvritti, sadbhavam, abhavam ahamityai. The one which is able to see, witness an active mind as well as a resolved mind. With thoughts, without thoughts. That is the status of Atma. So, as we claim that status, which is our status actually, there is a nice word which comes later actually, Swarajya. Swarajya is an amazing word actually. This is just one's own kingdom. You are everything. There is nothing called kingdom. One is everything, so you are the king actually. That's how it is. Swarajya. So, buddhi tatvritti, sadbhava, abhavam ahamityayam. In oneself, everything resolves. The entire jagat resolves. This is what is happening. So, Manishji, the question you asked is quite pertinent. This is how mind thinks. This is how mind puts up a logic. And Vedanta uses logic for dispelling the wrong logic. Otherwise, logic is never ultimate. For example, we have proverbs. And some of these proverbs can be, it is like, -a and +a. They come together, they can contradict and they can nullify each other. One proverb is, for example, something is better than nothing. Okay? And the second thing says, half knowledge is dangerous. So, now you can give a lecture for half an hour to convince someone, saying something is better than nothing. Yeah, kuch to pad lo. Half gyan rakh lo, chalega na, no problem, what is the big deal? Itna to aaya na kam se kam. So you can definitely convince a person on that and say that 50 mark to mila kam se kam, pass to hoyi thik hai, 100 nahi mila to chalega. So this is one. Now, this person has taken the money for that session actually. He has already charged, 300 rupees per person, and some 1 lakh persons have joined and he has made some crores out of it. Now, immediately, or even before that also, simultaneously, he would have put up another thing saying, please join my session on another proverb which says, half knowledge is dangerous. 299 rupees, registrations open. If a person, if I were to see both advertisements together, no, for me, it would have got nullified and there is no problem now. I did not go for the first session also now. If I had seen it together. This is what I'm saying, -a +a, if you visualize together, there is no word actually. So in this advertisement, what this gentleman did now, actually he has to keep a distance between both these sessions, even at the time of advertising. He has to get all the enrollment first and this, at least money on his side. And then, 1 day or 2 days short of this course, he can give his advertisement for the next one because he wants to, captivate time. He doesn't want to waste time. because he must be doing it probably in a frequency of a week. So he doesn't want to lose participants. The next advertisement goes. Next session is how knowledge is dangerous. Supposing if the same participant goes to the other one also, he'll be wondering, yeah, abhi bhi to maine 300 rupees diya tha, pura chain cancel kar diya. This can happen. So this is how world is actually. Logic is used by our sampradaya in terms of teaching in the what do you call it, Guru Parampara, in terms of the teaching Parampara Sampradaya, not because logic is ultimate. Logic is used to only kill a wrong logic. Mind can put up enough logic to say word is true because I'm experiencing it. Mind can say this. Somewhere a Mahamati has to come, much more intelligent person has to come, who has to bring about all other residual logic which is available, which mind doesn't know. Mind is this much. Okay? And it puts up so much of logic. And you see, Mahamati has so much of logic actually. He can take from his pocket 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so many astras he can put actually, saying, you have this logic, take this now. You have another logic, take this now. This is what Shastra does actually. So Shastra is Mahamati because Shruti is Maya, which is the power of Brahman only. So automatically Shruti will have much more Astra in its bucket. And it can always give one example, we have this, where I think cat teaches maybe lion how to, hunt or whatever it is. And then the last lesson what to be taught was, how to climb a tree. So cat does not teach that actually. When lion finally comes to attack the cat itself, then cat just goes up, climbs the tree and goes up. Now lion says, but you never taught me this. It says, to isliye to nahi teach kiya. So when Jiva comes about, Jiva is endowed with lot of ability to create, confusion and also to create clarity. Everything it is given, endowed with. But still it is Alpa. Jiva is Alpa from that mind capacity perspective, not ultimately. It has some limitations. So Maya, which is Jagat Karanam, right? Basically, which from where Guna comes, from where everything comes, it has some more arsenal in itself actually, which it can always use when there is a logic coming in, logic being advanced. It can use some more logic. So this is how in Mimamsa, logic is used. And Mimamsa itself says very clearly, boss, logic is never ultimate. Brahman alone is ultimate here. Logic is also a time pass within this world only. It is a part of Jagat actually. So a wrong logic is activated, deactivated, whatever, with this right logic. Otherwise, logic is never ultimate. All that what is being done in Vedanta, in Sampradaya of teaching of Vedanta, is every notion, every thinking that is fixed in one's mind is being removed. If you think something is real, no. If you think something is not real, no. Every thinking what is there in terms of conclusion based on mind is challenged continuously to prove that what you see in front of you is there momentary, it's an experience, it's okay, but don't dwell much into it because it is not there tomorrow or the next moment. It is not there. So then don't get worried that if it is not there, you will be affected, and if it is there, you are not affected. Or sometimes if it is there, you are affected, and not there, you are happier. So don't get worried about this because what is outside keeps changing. This is Jagat. So that is how it brings this logic actually. So coming back to Manishji's point, yes, when we think from other side, things will be always different. Yes, but in Atma Vidya, it is to solve one's own ignorance. Others' ignorance is all packaged as a part of Jagat. Because an ignorant person gains knowledge over a period and his ignorance is gone. So many a times, ignorance about a particular vastu is also anitya. Today you may not be knowing how to use Android phone, tomorrow you have learned it. It is definitely correct that today you were ignorant about Android. The next day you are knowledgeable about it, your ignorance is gone. So if someone asks, was the ignorance there? Yes. Has it gone now? Yes. Will it come again? know with respect to that particular topic. Once you are aware of one particular topic and your ignorance is gone, it is gone for good. So this has to be used in terms of rebirth, right? When we start this mumukshitvam, when we start this pursuit, system somewhere says that the cycle of birth and death is a kind of pain, because every time we are born, yes, we do have some maturity, depending on the spiritual pursuit what we had in the previous birth. Yes, definitely, but still it doesn't absolve us of the effort of studying ABCD. Unfortunately, we have to undergo that, and using 4-ruled note, everyone has to undergo that pain actually. Single line, 4 line, capital letter, small letter. Worst is cursive writing actually. Oh God, I can't believe that. I think Titiksha, what do you know Titiksha? So Titiksha was taught this cursive writing, I think when she was, how many years old? 3.5 years old, 4 years old, in one of the schools in Aurangabad. And the way they were teaching was, every time she used to write, they used to rub it. So painful that process was. You write beautifully now, that's a different thing, but then that process is so painful. So unfortunately, this cursive writing you have to undergo every time you are born. So it's not a good deal actually. So in Mumukshatvam, what we want to get rid of is this. Now one question that can come. In fact, Titiksha asked me this question. Okay, Papa, how do you know that you will not be born again? That's a good question. So luckily, with God's grace, I had an answer. This is the answer I gave. I said that when you have a doubt about something, some topic, in mathematics, many times I used to teach mathematics. So when you have a doubt on a particular problem, you approach and you are given a solution, a method to solve it, and the doubt is gone. Okay. Before this, did you have the doubt? Yes. After the clarity, do you have the doubt now? Doubt is gone. With respect to the same point, will you ever have that doubt coming back again? She said no. Yeah, because it's conceptual, you can never have the doubt again. I said that's what is very important. Vedanta teaches us that we do not understand our true nature. And when we understand our true nature, we also understand that we never had a beginning. We never had a beginning. We are that Vastu which is not subject to beginning and an end, because it is an everlasting thing. This is the idea it gives about us. Now, when I change the identity to that identity which is ever existing, how do I even entertain a doubt that whether I'll be born? System is telling me, the Shastra is telling me, even now that boss, in this birth also you are never born. Please understand. When you attach your identity to body, mind, sense complex, yes, you can say you are born. But now that I am teaching you to understand that, no, these things are all changing things, please understand the continuing entity within you, which is able to objectify all these changes and switch the identity to that witness. Automatically these things become tuchha. And when I am not the body, mind, sense complex, how can I attribute a birthday? When I am not this Panchakosha, how can I attribute a birthday? Because I am that which is witnessing Kala. I am that which is witnessing Desha. Desha is basically Akasha. Okay? So, Kala and Akasha, I am the one which is witnessing. And these are concepts. These are concepts in me. So I'm opening up a graph, in that I'm writing so many things, they become, Vishwa. And the graph itself is out of me. So if this is the status I have, where is birth? I've been always there. So that which was always there is not subject to time. Something which is always there is not subject to time. So Shastra is making me understand, and I have completely understood, if that is the case, if I have completely understood my true nature, which is Atma, which never undergoes a change, it's a changeless thing, it is Advitiya. It is that without a second thing, even at a conceptual level. Forget alone as a gross thing, at a conceptual level. Apart from me, Kala does not exist. Apart from me, space does not exist. The corollary is everything exists in me only, because I'm the only existence. The idea of existence is me. In that existence, you come and sit and question me. That's the beauty. That is the beauty. So I was answering saying, if this is my understanding, obviously there is nothing called birth. So I was never born. So when I was never born, I can never have a problem about death. So this is what is Mrityunjaya. Mrityunjaya cannot happen only by chanting Mahamrityunjaya mantra. One has to pick up the threads. One has to use these upasana as a ladder, pick up the Upanishadic teaching in them, Atma Vidya teaching in them, grasp that, understand oneself to be that ultimate witness of all this Panchakosha, whatever is happening. That is where Mrityunjaya concept happens. The one who has to, the winning basically death happens in that process, not by chanting. But we cannot, trivialize chanting because it is a stepping stone. So if, for example, you used a ladder to come to the first floor and first floor is kind of a bliss, you can't throw out the ladder. You can't say, oh, ladder is a nonsense, just throw it out. No, you can't say that because you used all the way that ladder only to come to that first floor, which may be heaven. It's okay. You can't, tuchify the ladder actually. So you can't do that. So similarly, Shastra has its own relevance. Upasana has its own relevance. But one has to understand that Vastu Siddhihi Vicharena. Vichara is indispensable along with sadhana. And one has to get the purport of these things which is packaged in every upasana. Everything is coming like a chocolate. In that you have so many ingredients, and one of the main ingredient is always Vedanta, Atmajnana in them. So coming back to the question, how am I sure that I will never be born again? I was never born now also. So there is no death. The question is when I'm not even born, there is no question of death. When I'm not going to die, where is the question of next birth? Because I'm not subject to time. I do not identify myself with cross body, subtle body, causal body. I do understand that these things come and go. It is their problem. Yes, they just come and go. They're concepts. As much as a movie. Today, Rajinikanth's movie is there. Tomorrow, American's movie will be there. Okay, we see at a time pass. It is all a kind of time pass. To us, you buy a ticket, go there, come back. That's all. After that, home, we have our own home which has to be dealt with.
But sir,
in this context, I remember that song. Chalo man jaye ghar apne. Chalo man jaye ghar apne. Is paradesh mein, o paradesh mein, kyun paradeshi rahe. This was written by Swami Vivekananda. I can sing 2 lines actually. Chalo man jaye ghar apne. इस परदेश में ओ परदेश में क्यों परदेशी रहे चलो मन जाए घर अपने आंख जो भावे वो कोरा सपना सारे पराये है कोई ना अपना ऐसे झूठे प्रेम में पड़ना भूल में काहे जिए चलो मन जाए घर अपने. There's another verse also like this. So basically, going home is very important because we have deviated from what position we were in. Going back to that position is very important. That is homecoming, going back home. So you are that entity which is everything, now seemingly confused with world, engaged by the world, engrossed in the world, finally entangled in this world. So to remove the knots, first one has to understand what is that, which is, to which we are stuck. Remove that. Who are we? Remove that. Within that, who are we? Who are that real we? Get into that. That's when you refine, come towards Atma. Once you come towards Atma, which is the witness of everything that is outside, Aikya becomes much more easier because Atma and Brahman, they both are the same.
Sir,
So as you arrive at yourself, you already arrive at Brahman. In this Triputi model, we said Jagat is one thing, the inquirer is one thing, and the presupposed cause of both these is one person. Now, when Jagat is made Tucha, as per matter and antimatter, it's a simple knowledge. And matter and antimatter, and this little knowledge is dangerous. Something better than nothing. One kind of when you neutralize Jagat, already Jagat is gone there. Now when you come to this Panchakosha, objectify it, understand oneself to be everything, then here you have already refined, gone to the substratum of yourself. The way where you are, your real Swarupa, just go to that Swarupa, giving away the things which you are not. Already you have done what you are supposed to do. There, the last question, which probably still will be there because mind is still associated, they will say, oh, fine. Now, when I am everything, because I am able to witness everything, then where is this presupposed creator? That's where Shastra says, boss, good that you asked me this question. One answer and I am out. My role is done. Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi. There it just bridges. The moment it bridges, Shastra's job is done. After that, go do what you want to do. Simple.
Sir, one more thing I want.
This is what is the trick, what is happening. Yeah, I'll open up for discussion.
Sir, one more thing which I wanted to ask was, okay, so once you attain the knowledge, then Mahamrityunjay mantra also goes out. Then you have
everything goes out. Everything goes out. Shastra itself goes out. See, in Nirvana Shatka you would have seen. Na Sankyam, na Saivam, na Tatpancharatram, na Jainam, na Mimamsaka, Dermatam va Vishishtanubhutya Vishuddhatmakatva Tadeko Vasishta Shiva Kevaloham. I think this comes in Dasha Shloki. So, na Sankyam, na Shaivam, na Tatpancharatram, na Jainam, na Mimamsaka Dermatam va. I am not Mimamsa, I am not Jaina, I am not this, I am not any of these religions. I am none of these things. I am that which is everything. Tadeko Vasishta Shiva Kevaloham. Tadeko Vasishta, that one Shiva, Ishvara, without a second. Eko Vasishta Shiva, Kevaloham. I am only that Shiva which is there without a second thing. Advitiya. I am that only. I am none of these things. I am neither this color, that color, whatever, any color, none of these colors. I am that. So, na bhumir na toyam na tejo na vayu na kham nindriyam va na tesham tamoha anekantikatvat sushupti eka siddha tadiko vasishta shiva kevaloham anekantikatvat sushupti eka siddha. When everything is resolved in sushupti, when there is only one thing which is obtaining in sushupti, that Ishvara is me. So that's what it says. Na bhumi, na toyam, I am not this earth, I am not this, I am not that, I am not that. Na bhumir no toyam, ne tejo na vayu, none of these 5 elements. Na kam nendriyam va na tesham samuha. I am none of these indriyas or the mix of the things actually. All these koshas. Anekantikatvat sushupti eka siddha. When everything is resolved, the entire world is resolved in sushupti. In that, the one who's obtaining, the only one who's obtaining is myself. That Shiva who is everything without a second. Who is one without a second. Anekantikatvat sushupti eka siddha tadeko vasishta shiva kevaloham. So when you say this tadeko vasishta shiva kevaloham, that line repeats in all those 10 verses actually, because he's just emphasizing that. So the same thing, sushupti eka siddha, anekantikatvat sushupti eka siddha tadeko vasishta. So exactly the sushupti point only we are discussing in this verse. So when Shankaracharya ji was introduced to Govinda Bhagavad Pada, his guru, when he reached him, I think all the way he walked across towards Indore, the Omkareshwar. So that's where he found his guru. So when Guru asked him, who are you? Guru knew actually that he would get this disciple. He knew that. And he already had all the project which he wanted to give him. But he asked him, who are you? And Shankaracharya says this. Can you imagine? This was his introduction he had. He said, I am neither this, nor this, nor this, I am that ultimate. That's what Shankaracharya said. So that's a knowledge, kind of he had at that point in time itself. So that verse exactly is, relatable to our words, what we are saying in Vivekachudhamani. So everything is neutralized, Manishji, including Maya. Maya comes, it just enables and it neutralizes world, leaves us alone. Everything is neutralized. Only one person who knows everything, including Maya, exists. That's all. And then one understands that Maya is Brahmashraya. Maya is actually subservient to this Atma. Because Maya is dependent on Atma. That's the beauty actually. We are that which is that ultimate thing from where Maya itself comes, and Maya comes with this Triguna, and Triguna creates this entire world, and we get entangled in that world. That's the beauty. Something like, when you make, this chapati dough for the first time, the way one gets entangled, with, things getting stuck on all the fingers, don't know how to get rid of that actually. So finally, sometimes you put a little bit of oil to get away from there, and then, somehow you give up the world, separate yourself, understand, obtain yourself back safely, your hand is safe after that. So that way, you get first engrossed, and then get first entertained, then engrossed, then entangled. So once you're entangled, that becomes, a real, fun for Maya. Ab to ho gaya, fas gaya banda. After that, Maya only has to help also to come out of it actually. So when you come out, you get the Swarajya back. That's it.
Sir, one more thing. So that means that when you attain that state of knowledge, then for you that world does not exist.
Yeah,
But
it
is
is
there
Mithya.
any like I am unable to understand? So has anybody reached to that stage where
Of course.
where for them like where the world does not exist for them?
Yes.
See, world does not exist. Okay? A statement is more from a cognitive perspective. Okay? When you see vrittis from the point of view of mind, everything is real. Everything that is unreal is real. Because mind is projecting it. We are perceiving a world. When you perceive, how can one deny one's perception? So what we do is, yes, that is mind's job. Mind is taught to perceive things. Just because mind is taught to perceive things, that's not your problem. Because you are beyond the mind. This is where, that entanglement, de-entanglement is happening here. See, if we are, for example, we create an AI, for example, and it starts creating nuisance. Now, if one thinks that person is the AI itself, or one thinks, it is going to be for real forever, that becomes the problem. One has to understand that AI is finally in one's control. He can find another logic to kill the AI. Simple. So, mind is very much like this. Mind is that which behaves like an AI. It takes what is true for itself, and it holds the real person to ransom. So, one beauty is, if the real Atma is so powerful, how can that be held to ransom? That's one question which can come. There, the answer is very simple. The sense of being held to ransom is from the angle of operating through mind. The moment you come out of mind, objectify mind, that's not one's problem. ठीक है भाई चल रहा है नहीं भी है. If one is Atma, means that Atma is completely, untouched by any of these problems. This is where, from a gross perception perspective, I always use space as an example. Space is a beautiful example. It's a nice approximation for Atma. Amazing approximation for Atma. Space, irrespective of whether DNK is, setting up a stage and talking, saying, oh, this is Astika is nonsense, this is nonsense, Nastika is the best thing to do, Periyar is the best thing to do, suppose it. Similar thing, there is another set of people saying, no, this is what it is, our Sampradaya is this, this oneness you have to talk about, with this you have to talk about, that you have to talk about. Opposite views on the same stage. Space is a witness to all these things. And space is a witness to a state where there is no stage happening at all. Stage demonstration happening at all. That's an amazing thing. So that's the space has actually. The same thing is, applicable to Atma. And one thing where people have to understand is, if space itself can have such a status where it can never be touched at all, but at the same time it is not non-existent. It is existent, and it is giving existence to everything else also, lending existence to everything else also.
Yes.
It is not non-existent. And it doesn't undergo any change, irrespective of whether it is Saddam Hussein who comes or whether it is a Sadhuji who comes. Doesn't matter. It accommodates all. Avakashatiti akasha. It accommodates all. Now you can understand, if space itself is like that, the vastu. Now we should not think mind. Mind definitely, is involved in the entire pursuit, mind and buddhi. That's where it always comes as a proxy. It always puts up the world. So one has to understand that the entire cognitive ability is because of oneself, because the entire cognizance is oneself only. And mind borrows that and then uses it as an amazing proxy and then kind of misrepresents, if you ask me. So once one understands that, this entire concept of space is me only, then automatically, that understanding comes. And how do we understand our nature? Our nature is Chit. The very nature of understanding. If there is something called understanding, that is that understanding is oneself. Knowledge is oneself. Jnanam is oneself. In that alone is there everywhere. When that is not seen, space is seen. This is what it means when they say you have Brahman plus ignorance comes Maya, space. How? When you do not understand your true nature of being consciousness, you see void, and that void is space. That's the great difference jnana makes. When one understands oneself to be that Atma, which is of the nature of Chit, Chit is always there. Definitely I can understand I am the Chit. There is no doubt about it. And Chit is Advitiya. Chit is only one thing in that everything exists, including space. Once space comes in, the world is available. All that I need to do is to just dispel space. This is what, if you ask me personally, this was my process of inquiry. I could put everything in the world to zero very clearly. Even when I didn't know about antimatter and matter concept, I could put everything into zero very, very clearly. And then what remained was space, which is very difficult to kill. It's very difficult to imagine, killing space. How will you kill space? You think you are in space and you want to kill space, it's not going to happen. It is like, you open a file and try to delete the file. That's not possible. When you are in that file, you can never delete that file. You have to go out to the operating system, go to the desktop, select the file and delete it. You have to go to the next level to delete the previous one.
Correct.
Similarly, when you come to the level of Atma, then you can dispel space. So that was the transition point actually. When I understood that, when I don't understand myself of my existence as Chit, then I have only vacuum. In vacuum, I understand only space. The moment I understand space, everything else has credence. That's it. That's it. So this is what is happening. So you can neutralize Jagat with all scientific understanding what you have. That way also it can be neutralized. And you can neutralize space completely in the understanding of oneself. When you are there, space is not there. That's all. And definitely when a person is asked if he is there or space is there, he is the one who's going to answer actually, if you ask me. Space can't even answer. He is the one who is available. And in that only space is existing. If that person does not know himself, that is when space comes into picture. Otherwise space is not there. It is always, everywhere it is just only this self. And again, the word everywhere is coming from the mental idea that of 3D. That's the reason the word everywhere is coming. Otherwise, all these words make no sense. You are just existing. In that existence, all other things also have a possibility, including Maya and ignorance. So, the point is, when one understands this is something to do with the cognitive ability and nothing to do with the physical thing. So, for a person who's understood, he knows cognitively that word doesn't arise. For example, sun, it never rises and sets. For from mind's perspective, yes, there is sunrise and there is sunset, and we are also given so many, kind of upasana based on sunrise and sunset as events. But when one understands, sun actually is not moving. It is just the shape of Earth and Earth's movement. It's giving us the experience of sunrise and sunset. Now, a person when he is taught this, to him, sunrise and sunset is not happening because he knows cognitively. But when he gets up the next day, his mind's experience is still the same, that sunrise and sunset happens. So this person can still perform Sandhya ritual just by, abiding. That's all. Because as long as mind is there, you need sadhana. So use that sadhana and use that wrong experience for sadhana, which is okay. But that perception cannot undo that knowledge of sun not moving around Earth. It is just Earth which is moving. And because of the shape, we see sunrise and sunset. So, Atma Jnana is also of that nature where one understands oneself. But at the same time, on a day-to-day transaction basis, mind will do what it wants to do. That's all. So one has to just distance from mind. Let mind be what it is. Because that is its nature. Let me be what I am. Because that is my nature. This is what has to be understood. That's the reason one has to understand oneself. This is why it is called Atma Vidya. It is only Atma Vidya. We have to only know ourselves, nothing else. Manish James thinking.
One more thing. I know it is already 7:50, but so when you reach to a stage of oneself, means when you all this is gone, and you reach to a stage when you are you know yourself, but that is also a stage that you know everybody, because you are the part of the same like Atma is the part of the same Ishwar. So means that you know, because everybody if says, like you say, I say, we know that the ultimate, either it's you or me, it is ultimately we are the part of the same Ishwar. Now if I know that, if I understand that, then is it that I know everything? Means then it is like the world is resolved, like everything is resolved. Then there is no difference between you and me. Then there is no difference. So everything looks only one.
Yes, I can answer this. See, when one is everything, there are no others. There are no others. First point. So we are again coming back to the mind level, where mind creates compartments. Me, others. So that sense of being limited, mind can never let go. Because mind has very clear idea ingrained in itself saying, I am this. Everything other than me is other than myself. So mind will never, leave any stone unturned to put up this question. That's the power of mind. That's the power of mind. That is Maya. It will always ask doubts only with the background of Dvaita Bhava. Even when Advaita is being taught, it will always ask this question. This is the reason Advaita has to be taught. Because the default setting is Dvaita only. And again, someone need not have entire scripted to teach, you're different from God. You don't need that because the default setting is that only. One has to be taught to understand the wrong thinking and take the right thinking. Now, when one is everything, where is the question of others? It is not there. Now, but still, as I said, logic is always, a double-edged sword, where you can bring in another logic to kill one wrong logic. So you give the right logic to kill a wrong logic. Okay, now I'm trying to give a logic, right or wrong, I think, you all can decide. Supposing you are the owner of Google. there are crores and millions of email accounts which people have. Now, just because one is the administrator, can we access all the accounts? From a tattva perspective, you may be owning all the accounts, it's fine. But when you come to that level of transaction, then you need to have the password. At least you have to ask your person, administrative person, because the password, even if you want to have a wrong access code, unethically, you should ask for it. So, if you want to know the mind of everyone, then at will, if you want to know, then one has to pursue aparavidya, not paravidya. So aparavidya is that they call it ashtama siddhi. Ashtama siddhi, if you practice, you will get to know everything in everyone's mind. That's possible. But is that what we are trying to do? No. We are trying to package everything Jagat as tuchha. So if that is tuchha, ashtama siddhi is not our aim. That's not our goal. Our goal is totality. That's the reason we have come out of all these things. Now, when we go back to compartmentalization, then that is Ashtama Siddhi, transcendental world, not Advaita world actually. But is that possible? It is possible. Google's chief can always ask the password of everyone saying, boss, password backend mein to rahega, de do mujhe. But there are controls. You have to now, access those controls. That's what Ashtama Siddhi is all about. There is an access. Somehow there is a compartmentalization of mind and its thoughts. But it is all knit in a complete network actually, where people can have access for whatever reason. They have to pursue that again as an effort. But then that is a Dvaita world. We are not talking about moksha there. We are talking about a worldly pursuit. So when one understands oneself to be everything, the world, the thinking of second thing is gone. That is the reason that the doubt will not stay. The doubt will not stand.
So basically the issue arises because we are trying to understand something which is unlimited by using a mind which is so limited. So that is where,
Yes.
the problems arise. We cannot visualize something like that.
Yes. Yes, agree. So that's the place, where mind has to drop itself in the understanding that it is mithya. Mind has to understand that it is mithya. It is there and it can be neutralized when the other thing comes. The matter comes, that's it. It can be neutralized. The moment it is neutralized, automatically only the other thing exists.
Yes.
That's what has to happen. Mind can never see the self actually. It can only understand it is mithya. Self is already obtained.
Yeah.
It is Swayam Siddha. So, as Swami Paramarthanandaji says, realization of self is equal to unrealization of mind. Swamiji says very nicely, that's a very nice thing actually. All that we are trying to do is unrealized mind. So, moment you unrealized mind, self is already, it is Swayam Siddha. So, in a unblemished paper, if you have a kind of ink which has fallen, dropped, inadvertently, I think one has to just remove that ink. That's all. The paper is already available. One need not do anything more than that. Paper no one needs to create. Remove that ink, which is the dirt. Job is done. So remove ignorance. Job is done. Ignorance about oneself, one's true nature. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So we can chat.
Yes, sir.
No, Bhaskar, sorry.
Yes, please, go ahead.
I hope I'm not eating into the time.
No, please. No, not at all. And this discussion can go for another 24 hours. I think only my office time tomorrow will be a limitation. Otherwise, until tonight, I can go.
Bhaskar, actually, there were two things. One which Manishji asked, like this question, everybody has. I also had the question that, if it's a dream, when I wake up, even while I'm sleeping, others are looking at it. No, I'm just sharing, it's like sharing. Can we think like that also? Or not think? I felt that it is the truth. Like when somebody is dreaming, in the dream, the dreamer is sleeping, but in the dream, if suppose I am also there as a character and others are also there as a character, I know it's a nobody knows in the dream that it's a dream. I mean, like when we say that, in the world while I'm sleeping, the others can see me, right? So in the dream also, when, the other characters are there and they don't know they're in the dream. Everybody is in the dream.
Yeah. Thank God, no, that, for example, if I were in your dream and if I'm not available otherwise for office work, it will be a problem.
This is the problem.
Thank God.
So thank God, but in my dream, you don't know it's a dream. You're still there. The city it is supposed to be. So that's how probably that's how I understood that if in the dream, others are also a part of dream only. So nobody knows it's a dream. Only people who know that it's a dream, or some not people. I would say that again lack of words. When the realization is there, it's a dream for dreamer. Then only the dream's existence is nullified. This was, I wanted to latch on to three sentences which actually, the first one you said that Swamiji said that, resolving mind, the sentence that, the mind has to be resolved. You said something, that Swamiji said on sentence. I want to know that sentence again. That this is equal to the mind. The resolving of mind is equals to knowing self is like
realization of self is equal to unrealization of mind.
Unrealization of mind. And you also said that when mind is now one thing is unrealization of mind. For example, that's our first statement in the flow chart. Now I go backwards. So unrealization of mind, and you said that if mind at all is there, give it a sadhana. If mind, it's not yet resolved. It's not yet unrealized, so give it a sadhana. If the mind exists. Now sadhana, we go back for the step, and you said that japa. Japa is there like a single frame. Japa is like a technique where I'm giving the mind, which is in the sadhana, a single frame. So the entire chaos which is there, it stops temporarily, and you get the relief, the peace, the calm I should say to see the not to see self, I would say to be the witness. Probably when one realizes. Probably that's how, if I start from the top, it becomes like one gets a japa, so single frame, mind is at peace, the mind is at peace, I'm able to contemplate, I know I'm the witness, so that's how the mind is unrealized, and self is realized. So the flow chart can be displayed.
Yeah, absolutely. While you're discussing this, I got some thought. So actually there is I think there's air noise coming from your side.
Sorry, my end.
No, that's okay, no problem. I just got something very light to share. See, in all other states, in all states basically, Jagrata Avastha and Swapna Avastha, time is available, time is there actually. So as long as time is there, time pass happens. All these words are time pass because time is available. In Sushupti, what is happening is mind is resolved. That's the reason time is not objectified at that level, though that is still ignorance only. Okay, that state, Anandamaya, that is also ignorance only. It is not a realized state. There, what is happening is time is still there, but it is not perceived. Since ignorance is there, time is still there, we can say. So time pass is not happening because the time passer is not there. that is he is not there, but time is still there if you ask me. But in Turiya, in self-knowledge state, time is followed. So otherwise, as long as time is there, there will be a time pass.
Right.
And so one thing is that through technology, we want to capture this Sushupti stage also. So I like today, after understanding this, there is a feature in iWatch that if you that it can tell you that for how many times or during the night or for how many minutes you have been into deep sleep stage. So when
Yes.
we are that is a time when we want to go beyond time. We are again through technology we are trying to know that how much time I was into a deep sleep.
I know. See, all that mind gives credence. It will also give technology also. No, it will develop technology for what it gives credence to.
Okay.
So most of the inventions are all happening, based on mind's requirements, and the self need not be reinvented at all. It is already there. Swayam Siddha. Okay,
sir.
great. We'll chant Purnamada. Very nice discussions. Thanks, Manishji, and thanks, Sonia. Thanks, Shikha.
Thank you, Patrick.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Have a nice day, all of you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Bhaskar ji.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Bye bye.